Oh hey, it's me. Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated, but it has been a while and I thought I might show you guys something that I have recently finished and I absolutely love. It's these frames and I think they've come out absolutely fantastic. You can see the entire thing that I've done, so I went around and I had all them routed out, and to be honest, I didn't do it all by hand. I built myself a machine to build these, which I think is fantastic, and I really love how they came out, and I really love everything that I can actually do with it, because it's fantastic. But if you know much about CNC, they are an absolute pain to program and do stuff with. If you go through some of the big YouTubers, you see what they do, and they always just cut straight to the scene where they are just, the machine's going around doing its little buzzy thing, and it just works straight away. And it's not that easy. It takes a lot of programming, it takes a lot of work, and it's a pain in the ass to do. So I might show you guys these a little bit closer and show you some of the finer details that I love about them. And then I might talk a little bit about the CNC that I made, because it's good. I like it. Alright, so I made these. More specifically, the frames. So if you have a look, these are basically what I wanted to do. So I made some Harry Potter frames. I wanted to have all the little logos. I wanted to have all the little symbols. So it's quite cool and it works quite well inside of it. Let's say I'm really happy with how it came out. Just, it's everything that I wanted, and I made up a few of them since we got 6 of these prints. So you can see them up on the wall here, and I'll show you the other ones. So you can see these ones up on the other side. The art's made by a fantastic New Zealand artist, Fiona Clarke. I'll link her down the bottom in the description, but they came out really cool, and I think they're nice and subtle inside of our bedroom, and I'm just really happy with how they came out. But there is more to them to making them. Alright, so these are some of the ones that got rejected because they just did not work particularly well. This one here, it didn't cut it out particularly evenly. This one here had that all started cutting out in a weird spot, and it wasn't good. This one here, I sort of wanted to put a whole lot of different ideas, and it just started cutting them way too deep. So if you look at those gouges, it gouged it out when it should have been very fine. This one here started very dickishly, and it was all over the place, and I just couldn't do anything. That one gouged it out there. This one here started carving through the entire thing, and I shouldn't be doing that. This one here was just started carving over there, it went way off, and as you can see, they are a pain in the ass to do, because there's a lot of learning that goes around into CNCing stuff and having to be able to build stuff on the CNC. It's not just a matter of pressing go and it cuts everything. It is a pain in the ass. But let me show you my machine, because I really like it. It's one of the best things I've ever made. I built it all from scratch, and I'm very proud of it. Alright, so this is my CNC, and I am very proud of it. I built the entire thing from scratch. Just pretty much everything. I did all the electronics myself, I did all the enclosure, I did all the rails. Well, I bought the shiny little rails here and the ball screws and everything, and mounted all the motors, the electronics, and I love this thing. But it is a pain in the ass to get right. Now this is the Mark II with the electronics, and I really need a much bigger box for it, which is on my to-do list, but I had so many little issues with this. One of the big ones that I had was trying to figure out the peak voltage versus the normal voltage, and then I had the drivers set up too high and the amperage was going through, and it basically started cooking the engines, which was not good, on the motors, which wasn't good. But yeah, whole thing's powered by that. That's a little control board for it, which is a little Arduino, and lots of power supplies. But yeah, the thing works, and the thing works fantastically. I am very happy. So when I built this one, I basically went for one of the top end ones that you can actually buy, which is well and truly out of my budget, and I basically saw the specs that they had on top of it. So I went around and bought all of the motors, so similar sort of motors and torque and amperage and all that sort of stuff, and then basically built it all off that and just tried to make the best possible overkill job that I can. If you go on YouTube videos, you'll see a stack of people that are doing crazy stupid things, like they're going around and filling up all of the square hollow tube with concrete and just stupid. Well, I'm sure it works well, but for what I'm doing, I'm basically using it for wood. It works great. But I need to give it a clean, I need to level the bed, and there's a whole lot of little things I need to do with it. But this thing is fantastic, and I love doing it. And no, I'm not going to do a build video on it, because it takes twice as long to actually make a build video as to actually make the thing in the first place. And I just didn't have the time, or the energy to sit there and film and go back, change the camera angle, and do all that sort of bullshit. I just wanted to get it done, and I love how this thing has come out. It's a joy to use. But I'm going to show you what is the absolute pain in the ass to do, what really annoys me and what I need to get better at. All right, so I'm currently sitting on my couch, and this is where basically majority of the work that goes into the CNC comes in. So I got my little laptop here, and basically I sit on the couch and I need to program it all. I need to do all the fiddly work and to get the whole thing working. I'm going to set up a little bit of a screen capture and show you some of the fiddly things that actually goes into it. But it's annoying. It's very, very annoying. But there's just so many things that I can potentially do with it that it's kind of worth going through all the hassle to get it all up and running. So I'm going to show you the software a little bit. It's Fusion 360. I'm sure some people have seen it online and seen stuff about it, but I love it. Okay, so this is Fusion 360, and I know a couple of people look out there and they look at it and say, oh, this is old hat, this is easy stuff, but I find it confusing as hell. It has a lot of stuff to try and figure out, and it does an incredibly large amount of things, but trying to figure out all the little fine details is a pain in the butt. But I really like how it turned out, and I really like what I can do with it. I set this one up so I could cut it from both sides, so I can cut the frame from behind and go through all the finer details. There are a couple of things that I didn't end up using, like if you can see some of the little stars there, I wanted to kind of have them around the out of the frame, but I didn't like how it looked, and the very, very minor little cracks, I kind of wanted to have that looking like really antique-y looking just around the edges of all of the timber, but for the life of me, I could not get it to cut properly. It was just an absolute pain in the butt. It would do everything wrong, it would go too deep, it wouldn't cut it properly, and I'm sure there's some sort of setting or something that I can do to make it work well, but for the life of me, I could not figure it out, and it was just absolutely doing my head in. But I love this program, I love how it works, and I'm not going to go into a massive tutorial about how it all works, because there is 1,000 different things you can do, 1,000 different ways you can make it work, and it's just going to confuse the crap out of people trying to do that sort of stuff. But another thing here is the design section of it. So I'll jump into the design section here, and it basically goes on to how you build the entire thing from scratch. So basically what I needed to do is go through and create a profile. So I go around and create the profile for it with just the basic outline. You extrude that into one big long bar, and then from there I can go on to and basically join them together, make sure all the cracks come together nicely, and it works quite well. So yeah, I love this program, and I hate it. Yeah, like I say, I really do love this machine. I love being able to make pretty much what I've got inside my brain and to be able to bring it out here. There is a massive learning curve, which I'm still trying to get through and is an absolute pain in the ass, but I really do love being able to make just something like this. My wife said to me, why don't you just buy some frames? And yes, buying frames would have been much easier, would have been much simpler, and had much less work involved in them. But look at this, and just being able to basically make exactly what I've got in my head and bring it out on here is something I love being able to do. And there are so many options with this machine as well. The next project that I've got in mind is I'm going to completely redo my kitchen. I want to be able to do all the drawer fronts and then make pretty much all the drawer fronts on the CNC, pull them out, make them exactly the size to millimeter accurate, and then it's just a matter of painting, sanding, painting, and it's going to save me so much money than when I want to try and do it myself, and including doing things like the drawers. So I can just plot in some drawers, I can make a standardized thing, and then there's some little bits that you can tweak, so you can just change a couple numbers and it will redo the entire thing, and it will just basically cut them all out exactly what I want to do. If I want to have fancy joinery, or do all that sort of stuff, and it's just amazing. So yeah, I may or may not make a video out of redoing the kitchen, because it just takes so much more time actually doing it that way. If there's interest, I could, but see how we go. So yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this, and sorry it's been so long since a video. I have been busy, very, very busy. Lots of life stuff, lots of job stuff, lots of everything, but I might be back, might not be. See how I go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks.